Hello and welcome to episode 4 of the Knit 1 Purrr 2 knitting podcast. Hi, my name is Hannah. I'm a knitter from Birmingham in the UK, and this is my tiny space on the internet to talk about knitting because it's all I think about and I want to share some things with you. I've been reflecting on how January went and the fact that it was 1,000 years long, and my intentions for the month and starting the year off right, and actually the reality of how my knitting went. The last video I posted was about how much stash I had and how huge my stash was. It's massive, it's huge. Like, I'm going to tell you right now. No, actually, it might be a spoiler. Did I stick to my no buy rule in the month of January? Who knows? You will find out. That's a bit cheeky. Oh my god, that's cheeky of me, and my end isn't woven in. Which brings me on to what I'm wearing. This is the my custard cardigan. Hooray! It exists in its full form. It's wearable. This is I call it the custard cardi, but it is the, I'm looking at my notes, it is the Sunshine Impressions cardigan by Drops, which is a free pattern. On Drops website there's like 100,000 knitting patterns, something crazy, and it's one of those. I started knitting this in like Feb 2022, so I talked about it in the first episode. It was hibernating for a very long time. It's made in Drops Melody in vanilla, which is like the most beautiful colour, the most beautiful yellow shade. Why couldn't I think of that word? Shade of yellow. It's more like a buttercup. I wouldn't call this vanilla, in my opinion. Vanilla to me is much lighter. This is more, that's why I call it the custard cardigan, because I feel like it's the colour of custard. I'm from Birmingham, which is where Bird's custard is from, historically. If you are British, then you know. And I just thought I've got to call it the custard cardi because of the colour of it. And actually, I'm wearing a black top today, as you can see, and you can kind of see the lines, which I feel like this happens in Melody, even in like really expert knitters' patterns that use Melody. I feel as if you see the lines, which I'm not that fussed about really. The original pattern has this paw print, I call it a paw print motif, this lace motif all over the sleeves as well, but I couldn't be bothered to do it. Just did the plain sleeves and then kind of balloon them at the end to get that rib. It's a nice length sleeve for me. I feel like it's the right length. Why am I doing it like this? It's like I can't function. It's like I spend a lot of time, a lot of the month, thinking about making this video, and then when I sit down to actually do it, I can't function. Anyway, this is the sleeve length, right? So it kind of bags out a little bit, which I'm fine with. And I'm happy with the cardigan. I haven't put the buttons on yet. I've got the buttons, they're here in this bag, and they're very sweet. They are from, I think they're from City Knits in Bourneville. I bought them so long ago, but really cute little daisy buttons. And I thought, you know, this cardigan's going to brighten up my end of winter time. And I think I'm going to wear it a lot during like spring and summer. I can see myself. It's got a nice saddle shoulder design. Ooh. I feel like I shouldn't have worn black with it because it looks so much more impressive when it's on a light colour is underneath it. I'm happy with it. I think the neck falls a bit funny, but I feel like I haven't blocked it and I need to do that. And as soon as I put buttons on and like kind of train it to close properly, I liked how it was like a very soft neckline, and it wasn't too high on the neck. Yeah, I'm happy with it. It's cute. There's a jumper version too. I'll probably make that. I just think Drops patterns are great for free patterns and like relatively like modern. Well, they are modern. I think they're pretty easy to follow. You kind of have to, I print them out anyway. I always print my patterns out because I just feel like it's easy to like make notes on. Yeah, it only took me like 2 years to finish this. I think I had 1.5 sleeves to finish, and I actually bought some shorties to do the sleeves because I was doing them on DPNs. And that is one thing I should say. This sleeve starts off quite tight, and you can see about here, here it is, this sleeve. I decided to stop using DPNs because I would do my head in, and I thought I'll get some shorties. So this section, the tension is much looser than the top part of the cardi, but when you wear, oh, you can really see it there, look. But to be honest, when I'm moving, you can't really tell, so it'll be fine. And finished is better than perfect. Knitting mantra: it's better to have something finished and wearable than it just sits in the giant whip avalanche that's on the side of my desk. It's, did I say this earlier? It's very light. The yarn is very light. So like, even though this has probably got 6 balls of yarn in it, I think it's a medium, maybe a small, I can't remember. It's very light, so I feel like it's a very good travel cardigan that you could, and anything in this melody would be good to knit with, like if you're taking it away with you, because it's, you're not carrying around like loads of heavy yarn. And when I was finishing this, I was like, I love this yarn so much, I'm going to buy some more. This was during 2023, so I was allowed. And I bought some in pistachio, which is the most beautiful, like minty green, which I'm looking around and I've got quite a few minty green things going on. It's like a lovely light olive, tealy, sea green. I wouldn't call it pistachio. Anyway, yeah, my colour names would be completely different to what people call them. That's what I'm wearing, and it's my first finished object, so that counts as 2 things. Diddy! I'm happy with it. It's cute with this top too. I haven't actually enjoyed this enough. I feel like I need to enjoy it more. Have I got my pyjamas on underneath? Yes, I have. It's fine. It's fine. I feel very fidgety today, so I need to be careful of that. So I apologise if I come across as moving about too much. I'm going to try and calm down. My chair is very squeaky. We know this from episode 3. And I record whilst my husband takes Annalise for a walk, our baby. So, is she a baby still? She can walk, so she's kind of a toddler. So I think I always feel like I have to like rush through the recording these, whereas I could just take extra time. It's fine. So, with finished objects, I actually was very shocked. I'm quite proud of myself when I looked at my list of finished objects and whips and what I've been working on during January, because actually I've done quite well of finishing little projects off. They're not big projects I've finished, but I've got some cute things to show you. So my first finished object, I talked about at the end of episode 3 how my plan was to make the piece by piece blanket by Anna Homebird of Petite Knit, and I was very excited about kind of giving myself a colourwork project, a challenge for the year, and something that I can work on over the whole year in order to create something that's similar to kind of like a temperature blanket, but not bothering with temperature because it's so flipping cold here, and I feel like it'll be mostly blue. And I didn't really see myself doing a blanket that was like just 200 stitches across, you know, or like however, you know, a large amount of stitches. I just thought, I'm not going to do 200 stitches a day. What can I do that I'm going to gain some skill with, and it'll be fun and it'll be different. So I've been following Anna for a long time. I really love her stuff. She has a really great balance of like kind of like marrying traditional and more modern chic designs together. So bought the pattern, told my friend Rachel about the pattern. She also bought it, and when I ordered the wool, 2 lots came, and I was like, Wool Warehouse has made an error and I've got 2 lots of drops in the pool. And then I checked the invoices, and actually I just paid twice. Wool Warehouse never mess up, and I had paid on PayPal and on debit card. So I had 2 lots. So Rachel took my other half of the yarn, and she's got those colours, and then I have these colours. They're here. They're in this beautiful crate that my sister-in-law drew for my baby shower, and it has a Lord of the Rings quote on there. Very sweet. And it usually keeps my knitting projects in it in the living room, but now I'm pretending that I'm a wool shop. Don't I look like a really cool independent yarn store? Let me just move that bit. How aesthetically pleasing is this? So I bought all of this. This is all drops in a pool. The colours, I guess I could put on here. I'll put them somewhere. There are 40 squares in the pattern. There are 40 charts in the pattern for different squares that you can make for the piece by piece blanket. I've made 5 from it. I think there was 5 weeks in January. I feel like there was. It's my first colour work project. This is my first one because that ocean blue is just so beautiful. They're not blocked, don't judge me, and I haven't done the edges either. The back isn't looking too bad. Like, that's pretty good for first colour work project, I reckon. But maybe a beginner's look, because then the second one seems really tight. And I was originally planning on doing, like, choosing the patterns based on what we did that week and not choosing the colours. So we went to Packwood House, which isn't far from where we live with my family, this Sunday when I made this. And this has also got a very neat back. I'm quite impressed with myself. Colour dominance here. I need to learn more about colour dominance. But then, I don't know, I just felt like then with the idea of doing colour based, like linking it to, I just think it was overcomplicating it. So then I just went with colours I liked. So I've done a little green and yellow, and it looks a little bit like a Cub Scout pattern, doesn't it? You know, like the fleur de lis from the Scouts. So I have this one's my third. So I have like a brown, kind of like a Marmite one. I have my Cub Scout one. I have my lovely blue. I have the like powder pink and the purple, I think, which is looks like a houndstooth pattern, doesn't it, on here? They look better on the camera actually than they are in real life. Again, pretty neat, I reckon. Oh, that's not as neat actually. Let's cover that bit up. And then my 5th, which I finished 2 nights ago, is the windmill, which is my favourite so far. I love this pattern. Maltese cross windmill style. I'm really happy with how they're going actually. I think I need to. I was behind. Let's just be clear. I was behind starting these. I didn't start until the second week of January, so I already felt like a bit of a failure with my plan. So I did 2 quite quickly and then had a gap, and then I just think I need to maybe set a day to do them, maybe like a Wednesday, so I've got a bit of time in case that doesn't happen for the rest of the week. And then not be too afraid of different colour combinations, I think. I thought I wasn't going to do many. I'd done too much pink and I haven't done any pink. So what am I talking about? So they don't look that inspiring right now, but they're going to be put in random anyway. I'm not going to like do it. Or maybe I will put it in month order, but that will make me think about the colours more. I'm just going to do it randomly, I think, when I put it together. If I ever put it together. My friend Rachel's done like 20 of them because she's super speedy and she's not doing like a challenge. She's just enjoying it, which is what I should do really, shouldn't I? But I've done 5. I've done 5 colour work squares and I'm so proud of myself. Colour work is hard, man. And I knit English, I don't knit continental, so swapping the colours is quite tricky. I think it's a manageable project for me to do 5 a week. No, 1 a week. Oh, dear me. It's going to be a running whip/finish object, the piece by piece blanket. And then I was quite inspired by looking at the charts and thought, oh, these are like, when you look at them, I wonder how easy would it be to make your own chart. And we'd watched Encanto for like the 25th millionth time that day, and then Annalise fell asleep for like 2 hours, which she never does in the day. So I had a look at a little chart website, which I think I can put here, and I decided to think, oh, I might do like a motif, because I just love the colours of Encanto, and I have like the similar colours in the palette that I'm working with. So I made a little, and I'm so proud of it, even though the tension is crazy. The tension is crazy, and it's all over the place with like how I'm doing the floats. I don't know how to do floats yet. I'm learning as I go. I was scared to start, but it's better to just have a go. And I've done the Encanto butterfly. Oh, because, yeah. And then I have big ideas. I'm like, oh, what else could I do with these charts? We'll see. I'm just quite proud of this one too. Again, it looks better on camera. I need to block them. They would look better blocked because they're just kind of these lumpy non-things. technical term at the moment, and it'll definitely even my stitches out. But yeah, I did the Encanto butterfly. This looks quite impressive. Quite impressed with myself there. So I've finished 6 blocks in total. Whether I'm going to keep it all just as the piece by piece blanket motifs or throw in some of my own, who knows? Oh, I'm quite proud of myself now. I'm glad I'm doing this. I'm happy. Yay. My next finished object, I don't have with me because Annalise has it on. I'll put a picture here and maybe a video. It's very cute. This is a very cute finished object. It was a super speedy knit. I highly recommend this pattern. And it is, I call it the Chunky Gnome Hat, but it is the Forest Gnome Split Brim Hat by Jamie Rex of North Road Knits. And it's a paid for pattern, but it's relatively cheap. And you get 5, let me check. You get 4 sizes in the pattern that goes from toddler, child, small adult, large adult. So I can make myself one. It's very exciting. Annalise looks very cute in this. It was a stash busting project, and I used I had like a random amount of the powder pink Drops Andes from the Bubble cardigan from episode 3. So I knew I wasn't going to be able to make much else with it. I don't have much super chunky in stash. So I bought the pattern. I've been doing a lot of Ravelry scouting and exploring and investigating this month. And I just think it's such a good source. It's amazing. It's such an amazing website. So I knew that I'd be able to make the hat for her size with the amount of yarn that I had, because I'd weighed it and everything. And then I just put some, just to make it look a bit more exciting than just like a plain pink all over. I did stripes using some stash, like tiny amounts of yarn that I had, like tiny balls that I was basically just using to make stitch markers out of. I have a bag of warm colour and then cool colour odds and ends that I can use and probably build up to at one point make something like a big scrappy garment, but for now it's good for adding little details in like this. The purple is Snuggly Replay in Pogo Purple. I've used it so much I know off by heart what it is. The blue was like a mystery bouclé that I bought from a charity shop. And then the dark pink is West Yorkshire Spinners Retreat in Happy or something Passion. They've got really cute names. I love knitting hats for Annalise. The bonnets of episode 2 and 3, just obsessed with. I misplaced the yellow one. I can't find it. I'm quite concerned that I've dropped it somewhere. I thought it was in the car. It's not in the car. So I wanted to knit something up for her really quickly. This was on 9mm needles, I think. And then it's knit flat, and then you just use DPNs to do the decreases. I knit it like whilst watching TV, whilst watching The Traitors. Super easy. I'm going to knit more of them. I want to knit myself one. The pom-pom is the cherry on top of the cake. It was from City Knits in Bourneville, which is my local yarn shop, which I love. It's amazing. Like one of the best yarn shops I know, and I live quite close to it, which is fantastic. And she picked it. So she was holding it when I went to go and have a little mooch in there. Is mooch a word that people use? It's a very Brummy term. Tell me if you use the word mooch. And she picked the pom-pom out, and it's got like pink, blue and purple, so it matches the hat perfectly. And she looks really cute in it. We took her to the park Friday with me and my parents, and she's just so sweet in it. And you know what? She doesn't pull it off as much as she does the bonnets. I don't know what it is. I don't know whether it's the shape of it or like, because it's got a split brim, so but that's similar to the bonnet, I guess, where it's kind of goes around her face and then open at the back of her neck, and then it joins like higher up. I didn't do the strands because I didn't think I needed them. I couldn't be bothered. I did have a little bit of yarn left, but I wasn't too fussed about adding it and overcomplicating it. I'd make more. It's cute. Here it is. Cool. I'm just looking at my notes and I went to get this and I haven't got it. I found my other finished object. A as Lizzo says, I just took a DNA test and turns out I'm 100% that lady who knits Sophie scarves. I am 2 years late to the game, probably. I don't know when the Sophie scarf came out, but I didn't make one at the time and I wanted a really easy, quick project. And I love garter. Garter does not get enough credit. So I made a Sophie scarf, really speedy. This is the Sophie scarf by Petite Knit. It's my first Petite Knit pattern. I have lasted 5 years of knitting without actually ever knitting a Petite Knit pattern. It's a very easy knit to do if you haven't already done it and you haven't made one. It's like £3 for the pattern. It's worth getting. My neck is always cold. I was fed up of being cold at the beginning of this year and I thought, this is a cute accessory. I wear a lot of scarves and kind of like a vintage-esque feel is kind of what I like. And I knit it with, again, a stash busting project. It's with Rosarios for Merian in the shade Midnight Garden, which is the shade 7. And I bought this from Beautiful Knitters a long time ago and I made an October Hill shawl with it. I had like a small amount left of the second ball. It's such a beautiful yarn. Like, I'll show you here. It has this lovely, almost kind of mock hand-dyed pattern to it. I think it's organic merino. Could be wrong. It's very squishy. Squish factor is high for this yarn, especially in garter. And you wouldn't think that like lime green, dark pink, black and white go together, but I just think it does. I think it's a lovely colour palette. Looks a bit like a snake as well. It's a bit snaky. I've been working on this whilst Annalise is like playing, and I'm kind of half playing with her and then half like I don't want to do any housework, but I'll be playing with her. But my hands I'm just so fidgety. My hands need to do something. So I can sit and knit this while she's kind of independently playing, which is at the point she kind of is development wise. It's a good in the car project. I'm not sure about the shaping. Like, this is it halfway. And I do like how you increase and you decrease afterwards, because that means that when you get to halfway, you're like, yeah, you can see your progress much quicker. It's like going in the car and like it takes forever to get somewhere, but it's really fast coming back. I felt like that was like the Sophie scarf for me. And it has a lovely I-cord edging. You know the Sophie scarf, surely. I thought I weighed it and had the right weight. And I got to halfway of the way, or I kept knitting and thought, I've got more than this, and looked and thought, that looks like a small ball. So I weighed it and I got over halfway and I thought, oh, it'll be fine, because maths doesn't exist in my brain. So I ran out. I completely ran out. So the end of it is actually the blue version of this yarn, the blue and orange, which I'd used for the Pompadour shawl by Beautiful Knitters. I didn't think it'd be that noticeable. I finished this very quickly when I was going somewhere in the car, and I think it is quite noticeable actually. It's scrappy stash buster. It wouldn't bother me. It doesn't bother me too much, but I have more of this. I found another ball of this, so I could actually just use a bit of that of the other ball to take this back and then finish it in this, which I might do if I could be bothered at some point. But I also kind of like that like make do amend element. I think it wouldn't bother me as much if it wasn't like right here as an accent, like really quite close to the rest of me. This is the third time I'm putting it on. I thought I was making the longer version, and then when I finished it I was like, this isn't actually that long, because it's not going to wrap around my neck twice. I don't really know how you wear it to look chic like this. Is this chic? Or do I just look like I'm wearing all handmade clothes? I don't care, that's what I want to look like anyway. My fifth finished object, only because it's also big, chunky, and they're all accessories really, and they're half finished garments, is this, which is it's just a super bulky hat by Sorella. I think that's how you say the designer's kind of brand. Her name's Ashley Kaiser. It's a very quick knit. I've knitted this as a prototype for a workshop I'm going to be running in March, beginning of March, which is a beginner's project-based workshop. I've done 2 workshops already at Harry and Floss in Ulster, and I love it there, and I loved doing the workshops because I get to be a teacher. and I miss teaching full-time sometimes, and it's nice to teach in a different way and teach adults. So I've had 2 lovely workshops there, and the third one I'm working on at Harry and Floss is to actually make something by the end of it, as opposed to just like a Franken swatch by the end. So I found this pattern online. It's free, and there are 10 sizes as part of the pattern. It's like a blog based pattern, so you have to scroll a lot, but that's fine. It was knit on 10mm needles, and this is in James C. Brett Rustic Mega Chunky, which sounds very intense. And obviously it's like purple and then like rainbow fleck shade. Okay, I bought this yarn in January. Okay, I will admit I didn't stick to the stash bust, but here's my reasoning. I don't have any super chunky in stash, and I knew that I wanted to make some examples for the workshop, because that's just what you do as a teacher. The pom-pom is from like a key ring that I didn't like ages ago, like years ago, and I cut the metal bits off. I just opened them up and took the like little chain bit off, and I've kept it in like my little sewing stuff, and it looks cute with this. Like, I wouldn't necessarily put these colours together, but again, we're trying stash bust, and it looks cute. I haven't really ever worn a hat that doesn't have like a folded back brim. I like those ones with the big chunky brims, but this stays on my head more, and I'm actually really happy with it. I went to work the other day and it kept my head warm, and that's what hats should do. And it's relatively like interesting and different and cute. However, this stitch count, like to cast on, is for the toddler size, and I'm 31. I was originally making it for my baby, and when I finished I was like, this looks big. Even when I was casting I was like, this might be too small for her. I hope it's the right amount. It's huge. So we've done my hat, which is fine, and I'm going to make a toddler's version. I think where I went wrong was this. I feel like I've been talking for a long time about this hat. I think where I went wrong was this yarn is supposed to be for 12mm needles, and I knit it on 10. And I swear the pattern either calls for 8mm or 10mm, and I'm a loose knitter, so I just think I just used the wrong yarn, but it does fit me, and I just feel like it took me probably an hour and a half to make because it's such a big wool. So I'm fine with that. I need to make some more as examples, and I wasn't going to admit that I made it for my toddler, but actually I can here, and it's cute, right? It's a cute little winter hat. My 5th finished object. Fun. Not a stash buster though. Stash buster for the pom-pom, does that count? Maybe. I forgot to say as well that the Sophie Scarf, the ends might look different because I did a little bit of a sneaky cheat. When you're buying patterns on Ravelry, if you don't check the comments beforehand and then you find an error or you find something that you don't really like, or that's on you. So I urge you to check the comments, because I've bought patterns before and then looked on the comments afterwards and realised that other people agree with things that I don't think are very clear, or there's errors or whatever. There's not an error with this pattern, but the original pattern starts with like quite a few stitches, so the end is quite chunky. It's kind of like more like this. No, more like this. Not into that. So I checked the comments, and a lady had said that she had followed this other Ravelry's modification. So I went onto hers and I found it, and her name is Sana Meow, and she calls it the faux fee, as in like faux, fake, and she basically reverse engineered the pattern herself completely. I don't really agree with that necessarily. I think like we should pay our designers, right? So I bought the pattern, and then I just used she explained her casting on and casting off that was modified from the original pattern, which I followed hers for that. So, which she puts on her Ravelry as a comment. So the ends look different. That's just a point. I would say if you like the Sophie Scarf but you think the shaping's a bit funny and you want more of a point, even a stash busted odd blue point, then check out that on the comments that's linked to the pattern. I haven't taken any I've been rubbish on Instagram this month. I haven't taken many photos. I need to take one of those, you know, like those Sophie Scarf photos where, like, ooh, it's like a little snail thing. I'm quite nervous to talk about rips because things are not going right. My main project I've been working on in January is a beast. So it's here. It's in this box, which is huge and lives in the living room. This is just the yarn that like I need to keep using. With my notes on it. This is the Stay Up Till Dawn jumper sweater by Veronika Lindberg. It's supposed to look like this. It's supposed to be chic and like oversized, but also wearable. This is a small. Are you ready? It's freaking huge. It's absolutely massive. It's not beautiful because the yarn is stunning and the pattern is great. I have just messed up on my gauge, I think. I did like 5 swatches of this, but I thought I'd like work the gauge out, and then I've actually made it lots of evenings watching The Traitors during January. If you haven't watched The Traitors season 2, get on it. It's gorgeous. It's very sheepy. I'm into a sheepy yarn. I'm into smelling like an animal, which is a strange thing to say when you say it out loud, but I love like sheepy yarn. It's not even cropped. Like you'd think it would be cropped, right, like this, but no, it goes like a normal place, like just above my trousers. The sleeve holes, look at it. It's absolutely, like, it's massive. Look at the sleeve hole. It's like a balaclava. I could rob a bank in this, but they'd see me coming, wouldn't they? Let's see. Look at the sleeve hole. Oh, it's so nice and sheepy though. And I can tell you, I can even put it on over the cardigan because it's massive. And it's the small. So it's just my gauge. I might just take the cardigan off. So on, it doesn't look too bad, right? Imagine it's going to have like big balloon sleeves, tight rib on the wrists. It doesn't look too bad, right? But then, when you actually look at it, look at this area. I look like the Pillsbury Doughboy. I could fit like another person in. And I don't know what to do because I can't rip it back because some of the sections of it, it's a massive stashbusting project that's like a lot of super chunky, and the other sections to make super chunky, I've held yarn double. No, I haven't. I've held yarn triple, and the yarn I've held triple is Bouclé. So I'm not ripping it back. I can't do it. I can't do it. So it's currently just sitting up in the box looking at me every evening being like, why won't you finish me? And I know I need to just try a sleeve and just see, because actually look at that armhole. And I don't know whether like the sleeve will just pull it in, but then if I pull this bit up, the bottom bit comes up. So I don't know what's going on really. And it's the small. Do I keep saying that? This is crazy. The yarn is gorgeous, and I'm disappointed with myself because I feel like have I wasted the yarn? Maybe. So this is the Collinette 0.5 that for some reason creates these like bumps because of how, and I've tried it on different swatches and different sizes, and it always creates these like bubble shapes. The slightly thinner but still roving super chunky is Collinette Calligraphy. Then this is the Mystery Bouclé here, which is much loopier, much hoopier. And then this is the Drops Alpaca Bouclé held triple. So you can see the difference between the two bouclés there. Like this is much more rustic and bigger. This is much softer. And this is the thing, I really like the yarn. I don't know whether actually I just need to like rip the tight. I've bound it off way too tight. And the pattern calls for you to decrease quite aggressively before you get to the rib, which I've not really done before on a jumper. So I don't know whether this is just like rip the ribbing back, which would be easier, and then just have it like a big oversized jumper, and maybe that would work. Maybe that's what I should do. And I really wanted to get finished for January because I was cold. Did I mention I was cold? and I haven't got it done. It's very warm, it's very comfortable. It's huge though. Look at that sleeve. It's like Saturn's rings. It's mental. This is my first whip and I'm sad about it that I haven't finished it. It was a plan to use up all of my super chunky of that Colorate yarn that I bought during lockdown. And I was really excited. I didn't know what really to use it for. I spent quite a lot of time researching what would work and doing swatches and then doing gauge swatches to different patterns, and it still hasn't worked, so I feel a bit disheartened about it. I can hibernate it, but then I'm not gonna, like, even if I finish it, unless I finish it like within a few weeks, it's, you know, the weather's going to get better and then I won't wear it as much. So I either need to like finish it quick and have it for this end of the winter, which does last for like another 2 months, so I don't know what I'm acting all like we live in a hot country, or I'm going to, you know, have to wait until like November to wear it. So, and I'm never going to be able to take it on holiday or anything because it's huge, so I'll take up my whole suitcase. Okay, my second whip, again, I'm pretty like not fussed about, and I'm probably gonna frog it, to be honest. Is I was, after finishing the first Sophie Scarf, it's such a good project to do without having to think, so I started a blue one here, which is in Cashmere 10, which I bought in kind of a random yarn haul at the end of the year just to try different yarns out. This is the colour. It's beautiful. It's like an ice blue, very Elsa. The yarn, I've just realised after doing some research for this podcast, is actually Aran, which I didn't realise. And I keep forgetting which row I'm on. And I think with the Sophie Scarf, because it was on smaller needles, you couldn't tell as much. But with this, like, I think you can tell, right? So there's a bump there. It's quite obvious, actually, look. So, and I'm just not very inspired. I also think it's going to be too big. It's relatively soft. The fibre content is 40% wool, 25, which is good, 25% viscose, 25% nylon, 10% cashmere. So to call it Cashmere 10, I think is a bit of a sneaky sneak. And I looked up, I knew the fibre content when I bought it anyway. It was cheap, it was in the sale. You can tell it's woolly. It doesn't feel like it's got any cashmere in it, to be honest. It doesn't smell woolly. Just not really bothered. I'm not really inspired. But then I think, well, I've got this far, so I'll just carry on. But then I just think, So I don't know whether to just frog it and keep this light blue yarn in stash as like a double knit Aran to use for kind of a random project. It's a bit of like a project. And I even tried one, because I thought I do like blue and I do kind of wear it a lot, and I thought, well, it goes with a lot of things. So I started another one. So I have two like started Sophie Scarves. And this is in UK Alpaca Superfine 4-ply, which is beautiful. I got it from You and Ply. No, I didn't. I got it from Yarn O'Clock in Mould in Shropshire for my birthday. It's on sale and I have it in this colour, one ball of it, and I have another ball in purple. So I'm definitely going to frog this. It's not working out. I'm knitting it on 3.5s, which the yarn bank calls for, by the way. I think it does say 4-ply. Well, I've been knitting 4-ply on the wrong thing. Should 4-ply be... 4-ply is smaller than that, isn't it? This is my fault. If I hold it up in the light, it's way too open. The garter is way too open. It's not working. It's very soft yarn. I want to use it for something else, so we're just going to frog it. I'm going to take it off now and frog it. The whip I'm very excited about. In this very cute bag I got from a charity shop for £3, and it has pockets for things. No, you can't really see because it's on a tiny cable, but look at this little beauty. This is, let me look at my notes. The Songenfri jacket mini by Guri Pedersen of Indiblomst. Again, I think I'm pronouncing that wrong. Who I followed on Instagram for a long time because she creates beautiful children's patterns as well as adult patterns. I actually just translated that word, Songenfri. Why do I keep trying to say it? And it means carefree, which is very sweet because she's very carefree. I realised that I hadn't knitted Annalisa cardigan for a long time, or like a jumper that was going to fit her really for much longer. So I bought this pattern. I think it is Indiblomst like signature stitch pattern. The way that the Andalusian is Sophie from Knit Pearl Girl. I think like it's her token pattern. And there's an adult version. So for a hot second, I thought I might make myself a version of it as well. But I don't think I'm going to finish a cardigan for myself on 3.25 needles. I just don't think at the moment in my life that is what my knitting is. And I want to just enjoy knitting and not be stressed about, well, will I get it done by the time that the matching one will fit her? Which I won't. So this, it's top down, it's beautiful. Construction, really easy construction actually, that creates a really interesting texture, and it works well I think with this yarn. Don't know if you can see that well. This yarn is the Cassia Hero. Look at this yarn, like its little ball is so cute, and you get 150 grams. I bought it in the sale before Christmas, so this is kind of a stash busting project, and this is lace. It's in colour 303. I couldn't decide for which colour to choose for a long time. There's a rainbow one, there's a blue and green one that's beautiful, but I kind of went for these pastel orange warm colours with that like shock of purpley grey. And because it's lace weight and the pattern calls for double knit, I'm holding it double, like a proper knitter from YouTube. I'm holding it double with mohair, which is a random little pink ball that I bought from a wool festival called Wool at Junction 13 in Penkridge a couple of years ago. And this was from 80 Skeins, which is a rugby-based independent store. And she's really sweet. I've bought some more yarn from her that I would love to use quite soon. So I'm holding this double to create this. And you have to be careful with mohair with children, but now that she's a toddler, I don't think it's going to be too bad. Her skin is okay with different fibres, but I know that we have baby friends who have a lot of allergies, and I wouldn't necessarily use mohair with them. Especially, I should say, with little babies, you shouldn't use mohair because the fibres can get in their mouths, so just be careful of that. However, I just think like it's an outerwear piece, really, a cardigan, so it's not going to be on her skin directly, and her skin's been pretty good, and she's stopped, well, has she stopped putting things in her mouth? Probably not, but I think, to be honest, the fluff is staying in pretty well, so fingers crossed. This is in the 18 to 24 month size, and she is 14 months old, but I don't think I'm going to get it finished in time. No, maybe I'm not doing that size. Maybe I'm doing 12 month size, and I need to stress a little bit more about this. Yeah, I'm really enjoying it actually. I like working on smaller needles, to be honest. I like a chunky one. That's what she said. I like working with chunky needles too, but I think what I think is a really good piece of advice that I got from somebody was to work on multiple projects and have different size needles, because it helps your hands from cramping up and getting used to one type of, like, one yarn weight to work with, and that's really helped me. So I really feel like I'm at a point where I like to have multiple projects on the go that actually I enjoy working with, and also different projects for different reasons. So working on something that is a big, like, main project, maybe for myself, and then a project for my daughter, and then like an accessory of some sort as well is helpful too. So that's been really lovely to work on this. Yeah, I'm not far off from splitting for the sleeves either, so that's pretty good. It's gonna be cute. I was worried it wasn't very baby like at first, like the colours, but I feel like it will go with a lot of things because it's got blues, purples, light pinks, teal, creams in. Cute. I'm excited about this. I'm enjoying it. Yeah, we've gone back to happy content now as opposed to disappointing content. Oh, acquisitions and plans. I was really enjoying working on the Carefree cardi for Annalise, and I really loved that hero yarn. And I kept getting emails from Katia being like, the sale's nearly ended. The sale's nearly ended. Get your bargains. Now, this ball for 150 grams, lace weight, 94% merino, 97% merino, 3% silk, is £23 usually. And it's on sale for 16. So I bought 2 balls, okay? Right, I got 31 days in before I bought some yarn. So I nearly did a whole month, without buying any yarn apart from that super chunky, which we're not going to talk about. But it's because Knit Pearl Girl bought the Marlowe sweater out and it was in a very similar kind of yarn, so I just didn't need an excuse. And I've even bought the same colour palette, I just love it so much. So I did buy this. But apart from that, I haven't bought any yarn this month. This whole year, I've bought 3 balls of yarn. Actually, I've bought some more. There's some here that I've bought to do some more, examples for the workshop, which is Wendy Husky Super Chunky, which is the only thing really that Hobbycraft had in that was super chunky that I liked. It's got a little bit of, oh no, it's all acrylic. Ugh. But I just thought it's actually quite a nice colour palette. Ugh. It's quite cute. I bought 2 balls so that I can make a little version for Annalise and another big version, and hopefully get my attention right for these ones. So I did buy this as acquisitions, but I'm not counting it as stash because I'm not even going to put it on Ravelry. Maybe I should, because then I can tick it off. I've done pretty well, I think, for me, because I'm so used to buying yarn like all the time, and any time I get a sale email or I see a bargain in a shop, I'm like, oh, got to. So I think I did pretty well. I am at some point going to weigh everything that I've made and then deduct like my weight or mileage, or because it's at miles level, not meterage, from my stash, and kind of work that out. But I don't know how much time I've got left in the sunshine, so I might have to put that in a bit. I finally got around to weighing everything in the light, so here I am just trying to get weights for everything, including whips, and then I decided actually I wasn't even going to include the whip in the total, only things that were finished objects. And I'd previously worked out kind of the meterage of things as well, so here I'm just working out actually how many grams I was able to get out of my stash, but also how many meters as well. And then I had to obviously include the yarn that I had bought, unfortunately, so that made the totals a little bit less than I wanted them to be. So here they are, here are my totals. I was able to get rid of 438 grams from my stash for all finished objects, but then unfortunately I did bring some yarn in, so my total was minus 138 grams for January, and then my meterage actually worked out as minus 903.6 meters for finished objects. But then I did bring in some, even though I used the majority of the 1 ball, I was able to get rid of minus 741.8 meters of yarn, which I'm pretty happy about. I think I did pretty well for January. Hey, exciting. And we'll return to the regular viewing of episode 4. I've gone a little bit crazy on buying patterns and kind of preparing my queue on Ravelry. I hadn't really used my queue before. I looked at it the other day, the beginning of the month really, and it was like really random stuff I'd obviously put on by accident or at some point liked. So I deleted all of my queue and then started putting in things that I did want to make. And I'm now at 22 things on my queue, which I'm not even going to finish this year, am I? So, but that has helped me to kind of categorise my plans in my own head. Something I have really struggled with not being at work full time, whether that's maternity leave or going back part time, is not really having structure to my day. That's quite tricky for me. I think I started teaching when I was 21, so I've always been in it. So I've always kind of worked hour at a time, Monday to Friday. Like I know every single minute of every hour that what I'm going to do, because that's how you plan lessons and that's how the day works as a teacher. And actually it's taken me a long time to realise that, oh, like that's a very different way of living to how you're living now. And I think that's something I've quite struggled with. Even just, you know, when Jack comes home and he's like, what have you done today? I'm like, not enough. I'm not very good with kind of expectations on myself and things. And I think something that's going to help me, I've started doing the last few days or the last week or so, is making lists of things that I want to do and putting things on post-it notes and kind of categorising things. So on my wall up here, I keep looking at is my ongoing project, which is my piece by piece on a post-it note. Then I have the big focus, which was that Pillsbury Doughboy jumper, not going to talk about. And then like some finished objects that I just kind of ball up and throw away and feel good about. And then things that are going cold, which was that blue Sophie scarf. I'm just going to probably frog it. And that meadow vine scarf. I really need to finish that. I just keep forgetting about whips. I really forget them quite often. And then I have a next up column on here as well as Ravelry. Maybe I'm like over egging the pudding a little bit, but I feel like I need to have lists to kind of help me. plan what I want to make next and want to make meaningfully, because I think I have to make meaningfully now with having reduced amount of time to work on things knit wise. I think I've got to make things for the right reasons and things are going to work for me, which has meant that I've done more swatching, as I talked about in my stash busting video, and like looking at what patterns I really like, and instead of just doom scrolling on Instagram, I go on Ravelry and I look at patterns and I put in like my meterage of what I've got from my stash and think, oh, actually what could I realistically, and what do I really realistically want to make with this yarn, and that's really helped me to kind of plan what I want to make next. However, the flip side of that and the con to that is I have got really bad decision paralysis, which is a fancy word, fancy phrase, which just means that you can't make your bloody mind up. So I've got all these ideas and all these plans, but I don't know what to start on next. And I've got a massive stash, like a huge stash. If I was a man, I'd be like, I've got a huge stash. I look at something like I've got this beautiful yarn in front of me and I think, oh, should I, if I use it for this, and I'm like, but what if I waste it on that project? So I'm going to list a few things that I plan on making. I've printed out I've bought the patterns, I've printed them out, I have the yarn ready, and I think these are going to be my next plans. So the first one, I've actually just started just this morning, which is the Lilacs for Lila bonnet by, and I had it loaded up, and it is by Knitted Bliss. It is a free pattern on Ravelry, and so I printed it off, and I've started it this morning, and I'm doing all right so far. I've got this far. This is knit with Katia Veganette, again another yarn that I bought kind of randomly in a haul in the sale at the end of last year, and it's this lovely like raspberry, orange, yellow, white chainette cotton, 90%, 10% polyamide, 50 gram ball. It's like 140 meters. Not really going to be able to make anything too substantial with that, so I've started making this. It's a lovely little pattern. It's got like eyelets running through it, and because Annalise started wearing that gnome hat so much, I thought, oh, she might keep wearing hats, so I'm making like a cotton one that will be a bit cooler for her as the spring comes in. And it's got a picot edge, which I've done, and I've just done the first row of the actual pattern. So yeah, it's going well so far. I don't know whether you're going to be able to actually see the pattern because I'm using this variegated colour, but we'll see. We're just doing things that we want to do as opposed to overthinking things. That's the plan. Big overthinker. I need to knit some more of those super bulky hats by Sorella, so that's what that was for. Oh my gosh, my next plan for Annalise, because even though I thought, oh, I need to make a cardigan, I've just realised that I've started this one, but I have another one planned as well. And this is the Xanadu cardigan, and it's by Jackie McAvoy of Kiddie Winks Knits. Again, quite a prolific knitwear for kids designer on Ravelry. Oh, the sun is really starting to blind me. Hang on. And okay, it's February, so it doesn't count as my first. Doesn't count really in this video, but I just yesterday bought some yarn for it because the pattern calls for a main colour that's a flat colour and then a variegated yarn, and I actually don't have any double knitted variegated yarn, so it's not my fault, and I really want to make this pattern, so I bought some. It's not the end of the world, it's fine. Why am I becoming a beige person? You're concerned, right, that I'm going to go all neutral. It's West Yorkshire Spinners Colour Lab DK, and this is in Natural Cream. This is going to be the main colour of it. You get 225 meters on 100 gram ball, which I think is pretty good. And a lady at my local gifty crafty shop called Armadillo, that's the name of the store, not the name of the lady. She said that West Yorkshire Spinners are the only yarn company in the UK that still make all the yarn in the UK. Now, what I mean by that is it says reared, sheared and spun in Britain. So it's not a company that like has the yarn, kind of has the sheep here and then sends it off to a different country to be made and then brought back and they dye it here or whatever. Apparently, and this is coming from her, so I don't know if this is completely, I don't have sources like for this. This doesn't sound right, but she said that you only have to have 10% of the manufacturing in Britain to say that the yarn is made in Britain, which is wild to me. I don't know if that's true or not. Or British made or whatever is the phrase that they use. Anyway, so I love West Yorkshire Spinners. I've used them before for socks and for hats and things, but I haven't used Colour Lab yet, so I'm excited to use this. This was $6.50 a ball. It was from City Knits in Bourneville. Again, my local yarn store that I love. Do I need to keep mentioning them? Yes, I do, because they're brilliant. Are you ready for the coordinated, the contrasting colour for the gradient? Mate, just look at this yarn. It's called Prism Bright, this shade is. This is going to be the most funkiest cardigan ever. It's called the Xanadu, and I feel like this is very Xanadu-esque. I haven't done any swatches yet. I only bought this yesterday, and then I went to get my hair cut. Thank you for noticing. I'm excited to do this, and I think it'll be an interesting construction. It's like a slip stitch pattern, so I think it'll be relatively easy. Sorry, crinkly bag. I think I've come to the conclusion that I'm going to be making a lot of things for her as opposed to making things for me at the moment. One, because this is my chance, right? I need to make them now before she gets too big and then she doesn't want to wear knits by me anymore. She has a choice. And also, I just definitely have like a small area of ADHD, maybe, undiagnosed. Did a lot of training on Zen stuff, and I think I tick a lot of boxes for ADHD. And I just can't finish things for me. As explained with the thing I'm wearing that took me 2 years to finish. And that was made me feel quite embarrassed for a long time, watching other knitters on Instagram and YouTube who like are really prolific at creating things really fast. I'm just not that person, and I like making things for her because I think that they're cute and special. I made them for her and I get them done quicker, so logistically it works too. So yeah, some good finish objects. I shouldn't be too hard on myself. I feel like I do pretty well for January blues, and finishing a whip that's been sitting down there for 18 months and then getting some functional knits done, like a hat for her, another hat for her that ended up being a hat for me, a little Sophie scarf just as like a palette cleanser. Palette cleanser. I'm not going to feel too disheartened by these whips. I just need to pick them up and work on them. I saw a picture that was shared the other day, or maybe a video, and it was talking about books and like your collection of books at home and your home library, and it said you shouldn't see your library as like a to be read pile. You should see it as a wine cellar, and then that way, depending on mood and what's happening in your life and the season and all of these things, will depend on when you need the books for particular things, right? It depends on when you should read them. So I think that's how I need to see my yarn stash and my project library, is actually there's different projects should be for different things, and I don't want to spend this year thinking I need to get done with this stash, I need to get it finished, I need to get it like reduced. I'm never going to finish it like for the rest of my life, but I need to get things finished and done, because actually I just need to enjoy the act of knitting with it and enjoy the yarns for each of their individual entities and what they bring with their existence. Is that very deep? I don't know. So my stash is like a wine cellar, I guess, and there's different yarns for different things, and that's why I didn't feel too bad about buying the Colour Lab and the Super Chunky, because I felt like I had to for a particular reason. One of those reasons being because I wanted to. And I have plans, like I'm sitting by a huge pile of my stash that I keep looking at, and I do have plans for some of it, so like I think I know what I'm going to make with it, so we'll see. But yeah, I'm pretty happy with January. I wonder how much I actually stash busted. Have a lovely month. Enjoy Valentine's Day. I'll try and get better at being on Instagram and sharing things. Sending lots of love. Happy knitting. Bye. I'm aware this video is going to be really long. I'm really sorry about that.